afternoon, and welcome to another Super Secret Project sketch. This is Eric Whalen from Super Secret Project X, and it is gray out there.
It's supposed to get some rain today. And we're actually under a wind warning for tomorrow.
Yay, weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. All right, I hope we get to test it out. I put our chat stream up on screen. I got that hooked up today. Hopefully that works properly. If not, I'll screw around with it some more. The pages and the turning.
If you hear something, I'm doing a quick sound test to make sure we're hearing.
Okay, who's a what now?
So if you hear anything, I'm doing a quick sound test to make sure the volume's coming through.
Cool. I was like, things are happening. I don't know what's happening. Well, she did turn out pretty good, didn't she? Yeah. It's been a few weeks. I'm a little skoosh rusty. Alright, there we go. I'm going to put that right there. Bring it on down. Rub it on down. Crease it on down. Hey-oh. Okay. Flip it, slap it, rub it down. Ayo!
Smack it up, flip it, rub it.
Yeah, you know, what do you want? I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt. I'm not exactly the kind of guy that just memorizes this. I was close. No, wasn't even. Okay, I tried. I did what I could.
I wasn't shaking my head that you were close. I was just shaking my head in general.
Oh. It's true, I do deserve that. All right, today I'm doing Space Kook from Scooby-Doo. And I'm not sure why. It just sounded good. It just sounded like the thing to do. I only have a certain number of Scooby-Doo original villains that I really like, and Space Kook is without a doubt one of them.
The Space Kook.
The Space Kook.
When I'm always afraid that I'm saying a slur whenever I say that.
Space Kook?
Yeah.
Really?
Because there is a racial slur that sounds similar.
Oh,
yeah.
oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I'm always just like, yeah, I like pause for like a microsecond to make sure I'm like, okay, and I don't know why, but I always do. It's like, okay, no, you're fine.
Oh, you're good.
That's the name.
You didn't do the thing.
No, thank goodness.
The Space Kook. Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right, I can.
Yeah, there's he's actually one of my favorite Scooby villains. I like the crazy look of him. I like that crazy laughing with that just rhythmic thump, thump, thump as he's walking.
Well, it's one of the best examples of Scooby-Doo. Just overall, it has all the general components you normally see. Blah blah blah. It had a particularly wonderful villain. It was on an abandoned U.S. air base that was haunted. There was a haunted spaceship, a freaking haunted spaceship. It never got on the ground. It didn't matter. Even as a kid, I was like, that is ridiculous, and I loved it. And then Space Kook was like perfectly like, I mean. Basically, it's kind of Scooby did a sort of a Mars Attacks character. I'm not saying exactly. I'm just saying the general spacesuit's roughly the same. It's got the dome generally the same. The Martians had a skull-like face, minus the brain. It's kind of like they went, no, it's like that. It's just like that silly, wonderful Mars Attacks kind of, not to say that's exactly what it was. But
this was right after the moon landing, right? Is when Scooby-Doo premiered in '67, right?
That.
I want to say it's '67.
It's right around there.
Sure.
Maybe 60. I want to say 68, but I'll be super honest. Brain ain't doing numbers real great at the moment.
Let's find out. '69.
We were both off.
So,
Yeah.
well, a couple years, but still, it was right. It was still recent time as far as with the space.
Sure. Yeah.
the
No, it was
homemaking and all
contemporary
that.
with the launch. Yeah.
Yeah, so I can see having a haunted astronaut, a ghost astronaut, that would be kind of,
Awesome.
yeah, I mean, that would, I can honestly, so I'm surprised they haven't, well, of course, this was past the time, but, I mean, if Scooby-Doo had came out like what, a decade ahead, it would probably have had like haunted cowboys. Which I'm surprised they didn't do a haunted cowboy.
They did haunted. Let's see, Native American chief. I think that's the closest they got. And the minor 49er, that was kind of that sort of, but I don't think there was exactly a cowboy.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen a ghost cowboy.
And I don't think the chief was even one of the better ones. There was a number of them that I just go like, okay, cultural sensitivity aside.
I'm trying to remember the chief. Which one?
They were on a haunted pueblo, and he had the big mask with the horns, and there was like ghost warriors and stuff. It was. I mean, the general idea was like, okay. There was a couple gags that were pretty good, like the girls kept disappearing in all the the trick doorways and stuff. And that was pretty funny. But it just like there's just a number of ones where you just go like, this one just isn't singing to me. Like there's a couple of them that just weren't singing real great. Unlike Space Kook, where everything was just like beat per beat, like this is on mark for Scooby Doo.
Well, the first season they were really trying to sell it and stuff.
I actually wish they would have kept it more like first season through the whole thing.
Yeah.
I preferred first season. Isn't that great? We're at the point where we can actually talk like we used to talk about anime. I much preferred first season of Ranma 1/2. I far preferred first season of Scooby Doo. Where are you? It's true. Now that I've gone back and rewatched it all, I'm like, there was some good stuff in the second season, but first season was just much better.
Well, to me, it felt like they made it extremely for kids afterwards.
It got sillier. It got a little less scary. Yeah.
I mean, because the first season had some really great. Look at Space Kook. I mean, having a haunted, just like what two colored monochrome screaming, like ghastly ghost head just coming after you. Like I said, I love that those steps. That for some reason the steps stuck out to me as
With
a
the
kid
glowing
watching it.
footsteps.
Just the thunk, 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 just come. I mean, that for some reason that stuck out to me, which is probably one of the reasons why, like Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart is also one of my favorite stories too, because it's the anticipation of the creature coming at you, and like you hear that stuff like, oh crap, where's it coming from?
Well, plus he was like wearing that big goofy space suit, so it just looked like it was heavy. And then you could actually look up the whole thing and not be too scared, other than like something's wrong, and then you get to the head and you're like, oh crap! I can't even like do that laugh, that kind of crazy, almost chittering, chicken-like almost, like it was just weird sounding. It was so good. Something like that, yeah.
If I would do it, but it'd be too loud. But yeah, plus my voice is still.
That's one of those sounds that I have a really hard time replicating, even in my head, where you just go like, I think there was someone on their staff, and it might have just been one of the major voice actors, but that one, and I forget the name of the ghost, but the ghost with the sheet, which shouldn't be scary, but was like the scariest ghost in a sheet they've ever done.
It was like two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the sound that one made was even better than Space Kook.
Yeah,
it was like they got like some crazy drugged up guy to do that sound.
That one always made me laugh more than anything.
Yeah, but it was awesome. It was like it was just really crazy.
It sounded like Tasmanian devil on meth.
Oh man. Yeah, watch me get no one today, and I can't test out if the text thing is working.
I'm trying to see if there's anything that was happening online today, but no.
The fact is simple. Last couple of weeks I wasn't feeling so hot. So anyone thinking to even watch us is going like, well, he didn't do it the last couple weeks, that loser. You know,
Oh well.
is what it is.
Mhm.
Wish I was a streaming stud. I am not.
We're getting you there. Yeah, somebody did a really great um, 3D rendering.
I saw when I was looking it up the one with where the skull faded down into the blackness of the.
Yeah, and it was,
Yeah, it
and
was
they actually-
cool.
They
It was
did
really
a,
neat.
a turnaround also that was on
Did
there. Yeah, I'll show you later. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was on it's on the ArtStation portfolio site, and I was like that they did some good stuff because they even modeled like the eyes were kind of just set back and all weird looking and stuff, and it's all gnarled, and yeah, it was pretty darn good.
Neat. Yeah, I don't think this one's going to take me too long today. Just kind of felt the need to try something super simple.
I think what I was impressed with is, and I admit I really want this, the Playmobil toy group or toy collection made a Scooby-Doo mystery set, and I'm like, I loved Playmobil as a kid. I wasn't a Lego kid, I was a Playmobil kid, because we didn't have many Legos because they were just so many, and
They could get expensive.
Exactly.
Too. Yeah.
And so, and even with the Playmobil sets, the very few that we did have, when my mom was a preschool teacher, and so through the summer, in order not to make sure stuff wouldn't get either taken or just be safe and all, some of the teachers were allowed to bring home stuff over the summer to make sure it's being cared for and all that.
Sure.
So she would bring home a few of the toy sets and all that, and a couple of them were the Playmobil sets. And I absolutely just loved those things. I was so sad when she had to take them back. But man, one of them was a UFO set. It was like the classic round UFO, and it had like the aliens and the people in the little bubble-headed astronaut outfits and stuff.
Sure.
I'm forgetting what the other one was, but I remember the UFO one. And I mean, I think for years I actually would try and when we'd go to the store, I'd see if I could find it so I could convince mom and dad to buy one, which of course never happened. But yeah, so I love the Playmobil figures, and I know McDonald's, one of their Happy Meal promos was the sets, and I had a cowboy set. It had a wooden horse, an actual wooden horse, which was probably plastic, but it felt wooden, so either way.
Good enough for a kid.
Yeah, and it had a little cowboy that had a hat with it, and he had a little gun and all that, which I was like, of course, being in the 80s, guns were, guns and children's toys there. But yeah, you could put them on the...
I'll be honest with you. I'm starting to think that we need to go back to that. I'm not saying gratuitous and horrible. I'm just saying...
It's... well...
You have action characters anyway. You have characters carrying swords. They're all weapons.
It's going to be a while before that, but what was I saying? Oh yeah, the little the toy thing. But yeah, I like the Playmobil sets. They were pretty neat. The only thing I didn't like about them was because they were so simple, because they had the head would turn, the arms would move, but the legs were all one piece that could bend, and that was it. The waist
Sure.
could bend, or you could make them sit and stuff. And everything was pretty much just click on and add and all that stuff. But yeah, the Scooby-Doo Playmobil set looks pretty sweet. And it's the Mystery Machine, and the Mystery Machine comes with Fred, Daphne, and Velma, And then Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are separate, but they come with like a flashlight and like a pack of Scooby snacks. And yeah, apparently they've been selling various like the villains from Scooby-Doo in like blind bags.
Nice.
And I'm just like, oh, I am all about that. And they had the Space Kook blind bag figure that I saw, and what I love about them is it's not only the creature itself or the monster, ghost, whatever, but it actually you can take it apart, take the costume off, and it's the villain inside. The actual villain is inside.
See, that's the way they should do it, because the kids should always be able to hit that point in the game where it's like, Farmer Jenkins, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, they had a Space Kook. They had the one white sheep ghost. And
I always forget the name of that one, but it was funny. I was like, I'd rewatching it. He's in the opening, but I'd forgotten it. I forgot there was an episode with it. Obviously, it's in the opening. It should have occurred to me, but rewatch. I'm like, oh right, they did have one of these, and I like rewatched it and went, that is one of the most terrifying, weird sounds they've made, and I think that's actually one of, and I mean, really one of the best sheet ghosts is in Scooby-Doo. It really legitimately looks good, you know? Oh, hey Roy, how's it going?
Oh, hey, Roy.
We got ourselves a Roy.
Hey, Roy. How you doing, brother?
And it didn't pop up on the chat box that I put up on the screen. Oh well, I'll go back and tool with it. I'm always getting stuff wrong.
Oh, well, yeah. We're still learning.
Is what it is.
Yeah, it popped up on here and it's on the big screen too. So.
Yeah, no, it popped up everywhere else, but I put a little, as I'm pointing to something that the audience can't see, I put it up on the little screen right over the artwork there, and so people's chat would go up. I probably got a setting off.
Yeah.
That's
We're still learning.
it's pretty much my professional life. Huh, guess I got a setting off.
Story of my life.
Got a setting off. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That's not too bad.
No, it's not bad at all. It's a good start.
Yeah, it's a decent start. Cut that in a little bit there. Clean some of this schmutz off. What was that, sweetie?
May the schmutz be with you.
Yeah. May the schmutz be with you.
So cute. I love it. Really adorable or something like that.
Spaceballs the flamethrower. The kids love this one.
Somebody actually made Spaceballs for toilet paper.
Well, that does not surprise me. I'm actually shocked it took this many decades.
But to be fair, when it did happen, they probably did have stuff like that. We just didn't see it because we weren't old enough to go into the stores and sell it
Admittedly.
yet.
Admit.
I think I remember seeing the Spaceballs the lunchbox.
That had to have happened. I can't
Yeah.
imagine, especially in that time period when lunchboxes were so huge.
Yeah. Lunchboxes and trapper keepers.
Seemed like such a good idea at the time. It was. It just was really unnecessary also. Neat, but unnecessary.
I like the fact of being able to have your favorite stuff like with you. I mean, that was cool.
Yeah.
some idiot. I remember an idiot kid.
Some idiot.
Well, yeah. And I think the idiocy was on the both of us, but the fact that he did it, he nearly cut off my finger with a lunchbox.
Wow.
Yeah, he had one of those plastic ones with the sharp edges. And
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, Sheena, put your finger here." I'm like, "What?" Like, "Put your finger here." And so I did. And then he slammed it and pressed down as hard as he could.
What a jerk.
Yeah, and I mean, I was like yanking, and I like slugged him really hard.
Oh, yeah, that's the right response.
And I'm just like, what the heck's wrong with you? I think this was probably like 3rd or 4th grade or something like that. But yeah.
At that age, nobody knows what they're doing. They're just randomly moving around, doing stupid things.
Yeah. Yeah.
No offense to 3rd graders out there watching this right now. Or whatever.
You know what to say. Yeah, but honestly, it's like, when I thought about that, I was like, what in the world would he would have done if my finger popped off? I didn't know what was going to happen. Yeah, kids don't have any real thoughts.
Also, what I mean is it didn't make it. Like in 2nd grade, this one kid, and he was kind of a friend of mine, put a pin in his shoe sticking out at the toe, and just hauled off and kicked me in the side of the foot.
Oh.
Never occurred to him. Never occurred to him. He was just like, huh? It was like, I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Well, I think the kid. It's just weird because when I was in high school, and this guy was sitting next to me, was just staring at me, and then hauled off and stabbed me in the thigh with a pencil. And he wasn't a friend, but he was I knew him, and like we wouldn't say goof off, but I knew him enough. He was one of those dudes, and it's like, oh,
He was
hey.
one of those dudes.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's in my class, and all that, and we would talk every once in a while. But yeah, it was like just out of nowhere, and I was just like, what the heck? And the sad thing was, that was the 2nd time in a week I had been stabbed in the thigh with a pencil by a weird dude. I'm like, do I have something on? Like, I'm literally like, is there like I'm like, what the heck? Was I radiating some sort of weird aura that
Seriously?
made dudes just like get mad at me? Which dudes are weird, or people are weird,
Especially at that age.
yeah. But yeah, I had a pretty good like mark from that, because it like went through my genes and everything. I was just like, are you weird? Are you crazy?
What is wrong with you?
Yeah, honestly, it's like, dude, you're freaking psycho. Like, keep any pets away from him, for real. But yeah. Anyway. How did we even get there?
Oh, no.
Oh, I'm recalling the conversation. Okay, I see how we got there. Going back to Trapper Keepers.
I remember the day when I got my first Trapper Keeper.
Actually, I kind of do.
Really?
Yeah, I was quite proud. Because everyone was getting one, and with our family, we didn't have much money, so
Sure.
getting one was
Big deal.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean, my family was a little better off, and it was a big deal for us. So,
yeah, I didn't have one of the fancy picture ones. It was a simple. It was
Sure.
either blue or it was blue with a white square, a white rounded square, or the edges were rounded. And I was like, yay! I finally got one. I think it was like one of the cheaper last ones that was left behind out of all the stuff
Sure.
when we needed school supplies. So I was happy to get one. And then
oh yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and then like I think it lasted for about a couple of years, and then I got a new one that had like one of those like fantasy like it was like clouds and balloons or something. That was on there, and that one was pretty neat. And yeah, I actually still have a lot of all my old Trapper Keepers. They're in storage.
I know.
And they're
We keep running across them.
yeah, well they're in the storage room. Yeah, and they hold all of my old artwork. and stuff from like elementary and middle school and high school. I've kept all that old stuff, and it's in my old Trapper Keepers, and I love those things. But man, I was actually thinking about this earlier today because I ran across, oh, what was it? It was something, but it was something about Lisa Frank, and I ran across a Lisa Frank thing.
An underappreciated artiste.
You know, I know I told you about the story of her, right?
I remember you telling me a story, but I cannot recall what it is.
Oh man, okay.
You have told me so many stories.
Yeah. Well, my brain is a weird trove. It is, but apparently she and her empire, literally her empire, she was like one of the most horrible people to work for ever. Like she put on this whole thing of having these bright, colorful, friendly, happy,
Sure.
like everything, but
Yeah,
apparently
it's the corporate brain right
yeah,
there.
Her company and all this stuff. I mean, she would just yell at folks and throw things. She would steal people's ideas and take credit for it. Actually, the latest was about 2 or 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
where this one girl, well, not girl, but lady who lived in New York, who has, she was one of the like up and coming like fashion kind of blogger people, but she would do like really bright, fun, bubbly stuff, and literally spent a lot of her money updating her apartment and stuff to make it look like her aesthetic, basically.
Sure.
And so, out of nowhere, her landlord decided, you can't live here anymore. And she's like, why? What did I do? And he was just trying to kick her out. Literally, like, rose the rent, like, they like tripled the rent so she couldn't. And so she was like, what the heck? What's going on? And so she fought and fought. And it turns out that somebody from the Lisa Frank company saw the picture she posted of her apartment, and then stole basically everything out of her blogs and stuff, made their own thing, and then when the landlord saw what was happening, tried to cash in on it and was trying to kick her out so he could like sell it and make more money and try and do the
What
whole
a jerk.
yeah, they were jerks all around. And
Yeah, I was about to say that's a lot of jerks happening there.
yeah, I don't, because it's been a while since I read what was going on and stuff, and I probably got a couple things wrong, but that's from mostly what I remember. But yeah, it was so messed up. But oh man, yeah, the Lisa Frank thing, that's one of those ones where I was just like, I wasn't sad because I really never really invested into her stuff because I thought her stuff was all right.
She's perfect for Trapper Keepers.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
she had her target audience of the little girl,
yeah.
bright thing. But I was more into what was his name? I don't remember his name, but he was it was an artist who did like a lot of the semi-realistic unicorns and Pegasus.
Okay. I remember. I don't remember who it is, but I remember the artwork. Yeah.
Yeah, it was him, and then there was another guy. I think his name was like Christian something, who did a lot of underwater.
That also sounds familiar.
Yeah, which I love. That's the stuff that I loved when I was a youngin, and all. But but yeah, the Lisa Frank thing. Like I said, I never really invested too much. Of my energy into knowing into the stuff that she did, so I really didn't have any awe about it, but it was more of an interesting kind of, I knew something was up with that, because that was just too much of it was too cheerful for my taste, and that's coming from me as a kid.
Well, there comes a point where happy cheerfulness just turns into like this horrific saccharine, and at that point in time, I just go like, you're not using any finesse. You're not really trying to pull any nuanced, happy, blissful triggers in someone's head. You're just soaking them in, what's the little pink packets of sugar?
There's a lot of, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah, the fake sugar, that really kind of gross fake sugar.
Oh, Come on, brain.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm bumping into. Like my brain goes, stevia. That's not it.
Sweet and low.
Sweet and low, thank you. Not that there's a reason why I didn't remember those words.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the first time in 20 years I've needed to know sweet and low. Like, yeah. Oh no, I can't remember the name of that awful pink sugar stuff. Sweet and low, Eric. Sweet and low.
Here we go. The story, that's the Lisa Frank story. I love the title, Inside the Rainbow Gulag. The Technicolor Rise and Fall of Lisa Frank.
Oh, that is amazing.
Oh man. Yeah, let me see. She was originally from Bloomfield Hills, right outside Detroit, which of course is one of the top 5 wealthiest cities in America. Go figure. Yeah, she was literally the spoiled rich
Yep.
person who decided, I'm going to run my own company and everybody in it.
See, that's the problem with people with authority issues. They don't realize that they will never get the best out of people by forcing them like that. Now, I understand there's some people who are a little lazy and stuff, and that they might need like a little bit of a firm handling. You might need to like push them a little bit, but that's different. You know, we've got some people at work that fall under the "what is wrong with you" category, and I don't see how they ever came to any real logical thought process to back up what they were doing. You just end up going like, are you sure that this is a good idea? This is what you came up with. You know, being awful to people, forcing people, being snide, being nasty. I mean, to me, that's different than, you know, having a firm hand and being like, look now, you know, you can screw around in the morning and have some fun talking, eating a donut and blah, blah, blah. But you spent 3 hours yesterday painting your toenails. And dude, they look spectacular. But I'm thinking you should get back to work. Now, there are some people that, yeah, you need to be a little firm with, but...
Speaking of which, one of the things they're talking about with Frank here, apparently one of the reasons why she doesn't come out in public, because she's only been filmed in public like twice. Apparently she's one of those like super vain women who she doesn't like the fact of getting older, and so she pretty much like sucks in as much plastic surgery as she can and tries to basically stay out of public eye so she won't be judged for her looks.
Yeah. Age gracefully.
You have like a ton of money. Just be like a crazy, eccentric, nice person.
But that's the way to go.
Yeah, gotta say something. Apparently, when she first started her first selling things that she came from was on her travels with Mommy and Daddy. She would buy Native American jewelry and then mark it up when she'd go back to Detroit to her house, to her place, and sell it.
All right.
And then started making her own. Because she did so well, eventually she started directing the artist on what kind of jewelry to make. If I said make a teddy bear or a unicorn, that was what was sold. And this is what cracks me up. Recognizing her own knack for commercial sense, aka telling people what to do and having the money to do so.
It's amazing how far you get when you already start with millions.
Yeah, like you're already on third base.
Yeah. Be impressed with me.
Look at what I did. Uh-huh. So, how much money did mommy and daddy loan you?
I know.
Oh, sorry. Give you. That's what used to always crack me up when I would see the young millionaire companies, and look, they built this from scratch. Like, oh, don't worry, daddy's a CEO.
Yeah, that's what always got when people are like, they did this from scratch. I'm like, they inherited tens of millions. Don't give me that.
And the one that I saw that just literally made me just face palm was the 20-something-year-old kid who was being shown for starting his own some type of like clientele company. So like he would get clients and some type of consulting firm or something like that. He's one of the most successful blah 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 for his age. Yeah, his dad was one of his like top CEOs in America, and was putting his clients onto his kid.
Yeah, it's just like, okay.
Nepotism, hell of a drug.
The thing is, I don't think nepotism should be illegal. I, on the same note, don't think that I'm going to ever be impressed when the person's like, look at this thing I built, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, no, look at the thing that your dad's money built. You didn't build that, you bought it with money that you didn't earn.
Yeah, I don't
Don't
think
give me
it should
that.
be illegal either. But I really do think that they should earn their keep just as much as the people that they're hiring.
I think it's actually good for people. What was his? Oh, the one huge investor dude. I always forget his name, but he absolutely, and this guy's like worth like unholy amounts of money.
Buffett, Warren Buffett.
And I think that's it. Maybe that's it. He insisted that none of his kids got that money. You know, and they interviewed one of his kids, and the kid was like 19 or 20. He goes, when did you ever find out that your dad was one of the richest people on the planet? And they go, we never knew. Like, they just live in this, and it's a nice house from my understanding, but a fairly normal house, fairly normal vehicles, treats their kids like normal kids. They had to go out and get jobs and blah, blah, blah. And I'm going like, that's actually really good for the kids, because, okay, you've got two kids, boom and boom. You give this one $10 million and this one $10 million. This one's a spoiled brat that doesn't appreciate anything. This one's resourceful and knows what a dime is worth. Guess where I think that money's going to best be, taken care of?
And there was one thing I had read a long time ago, when they were talking about people who realized who didn't realize how rich they were, ha ha ha, quote unquote. But one of the things one of the people were saying how when his friend came over for dinner to their house, and this was the average black kid, they had like plastic plates that they put out, and the kid was appalled because they were eating off of picnic ware and not fancy porcelain, golden laden.
No, this isn't stuff for camping. This is what we eat off of every day. This is what we can afford. We have plastic dishes.
Heck yeah.
I mean,
I ain't giving up my Mickey Mouse and My Little Pony plate. Screw that noise. That, and of course you have that really awesome plate from, it's actually kind of a collectible now, the Hercules, the Megara plate from McDonald's.
that's yours.
No, that's yours. That one, yeah.
I've never owned that. That's
No, that's not mine. I've never even I've never.
then let's chuck it, because
no,
that's
I'm keeping it because
all right, because I've never owned that plate.
that was yours. I think you got it from when
Okay,
we were in
that's mine.
college. Because I remember seeing that when we were.
Okay, it's mine.
Yeah,
I don't remember it at all, but it's mine.
I'll claim it.
Yeah, you go right ahead. I don't care. I don't even like it.
Oh,
I thought we had it because it was yours.
well, I will move it someplace else.
Yeah, I just think it's a gross plastic thing. No offense to gross plastic things, but I just don't like it.
Yeah, I think yeah, it's actually considered kind of a collectible. I remember seeing some
Bet it's worth $1.
well, it's actually depending on quality, which I think ours is still has the colors and stuff on there. It's about probably 25 to 50 from last I saw.
Yeah, sell it then. I'd rather have the money. I would. I don't like it. It's worth money. Let's go get money for it. That's pretty good. That's a little flat on this side. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad.
Not terrible. I mean, it's not bad for a sketch at least. All right. Whoop. Yeah. All right. Do the thing with the box and the sketch stencils.
We tried getting oh, hey, Joe.
I know. Oh, and the message popped up.
Yep.
We got the message actually for our,
Yeah, I
right
see it
there,
on there, yeah.
right there, and it faded away.
It's still up there on the other screen.
Yeah, but that's a few seconds, and then it just faded away there. But yeah, that is. We were actually talking about that earlier, Joe. I don't even know how to do that sound. That and the ghost sound. I think they honestly there was like one crazy person that worked on their staff that was good at that stuff. Because it just is wonderful.
I could actually, again, like I said, I know I could do, because I remember doing it when I was younger. So when I heard that I was good at that high pitched weirdness. Because my voice has gotten a little rougher over the years because I've been out of practice from my singing and noises.
Yeah. Since I squeezed notes out of my chest sack. I was going to say chest bags, but I'd rather not think about that.
Or would you?
Or would I? Anywho, catch everyone later. Have yourself a good week, and I will do my best to be better than I have been. It's been kind of a hectic couple of weeks. Anywho, everyone have yourself